So this video is going to be covering women's tests, and by the tests, yes, you can probably guess exactly what I'm talking about. Women will test you. Now, this video though will be covering the worst of the worst test. So sadly, the problem is that if she's doing these tests, then there's a really good chance that she's already doubting you, specifically her subconscious is, and honestly, it might be cooked for you. And salvaging the relationship at this point is really hard. It's extremely, extremely hard, and in my opinion, it's not even worth it. Check out part 2 of the video under the relationship playlist, and by tests, I do mean shit tests. Yeah, it'll cover the easier tests and the less extreme tests. These are going to be the extreme tests, where if you get these sort of tests, you're already in a pretty bad spot. Now, all of these tests are honestly really easily passable, and the way to pass all of them is that they have one thing in common, and that is that word right there. Yes, that's right, nonchalant. Now, for those who think that shit tests don't exist, there's plenty of women that say shit tests exist, and they, by the way, recognize it themselves. And these are women who are a little bit more aware, because I just believe that they're smarter and they have more access to their conscious ability of thought. So yeah, you're going to be able to see this woman, and she says for herself that women will test you.
Women, there are things that we do to subconsciously test men. One of the ways in which women test men is we will ask them to do something, see their reaction, to see that in the moment. Do they give in to what we say, or do they stay true to themselves? If you ask the man you're seeing to do something that he doesn't want to do, and he does it, even though it makes you happy in the moment, you lose respect for him. This will be really subtle, like you won't really notice it, but you'll still feel kind of annoyed, but you don't really know why, because he did what you wanted him to do. Subconsciously, it's because when he caves into what you tell him to do, it shows his inability to be the leader. And as the woman, that makes you feel like you have to step up and be the masculine in the relationship.
Now, remember, all of these tests are subconscious. This is incredibly important. None of these tests are actually conscious. In fact, women live in the subconscious. This is why they are impulsive. This is why they act spontaneously in this case. This is a really, really, really important part and a big deal. Some women who are smarter than others, though, will recognize that they do these shit tests, but a majority of them don't. And as you can see with my picture on the top right here, this is how the conscious and the subconscious work. Women are living in the subconscious a majority of the time, while men are living actually also partially in the subconscious, but more in the conscious area, especially when it comes to decisions, if you're actually making decisions as a man, which you should be. Now, notice how the woman before said she will feel annoyed around you, but not even know why.
This will be really subtle, like you won't really notice it, but you'll still feel kind of annoyed, but you don't really know why, because he did what you wanted him to do.
That's the reason. Because she's shit testing you, her subconscious is doing all of the work for her, and her subconscious is processing all of this in the background and recognizing what it does and doesn't like. In this case, what biology is more accustomed to in this case, which means that you're supposed to be acting like a man. Women are testing the competency when they're doing these shit tests, actually. And if you fail, it shows a weak point. Although I wouldn't necessarily call it a weak point per se. I mean, you could say it's a point of exploit. But more specifically, what she's actually doing is she's testing your unconscious mind, not your conscious mind. Because your conscious mind and your unconscious mind demonstrate two completely different things. Your conscious mind might think, oh, I'm maybe this sort of a person, but your unconscious mind demonstrates something completely differently. This is literally what the woman is testing for when she's doing all of these shit tests. And this is a really big deal because you have to change as a man. You have to change your subconscious mind in order to even pass these tests in the first place. Because you can be living in the conscious for a very long period of time. You can try to, every single time a test comes about, you are in the conscious. Suddenly, all it takes is one slip up, and you are now bugging her in her unconscious mind, and it will never leave. And that point is going to be brought up in repeated arguments, if you have arguments with your woman, which if you do, then the relationship's 100% cooked, which we'll get to that eventually. Now, these tests will never end, by the way. That's just how biology designed them, and it designed it for really good reason too, because she has to have her way of control, or I guess you could say her way of fighting back. She doesn't fight back physically, she fights back psychologically, and through manipulation and reputation destruction. This is how women fight. They don't fight similar to men. So yeah. And once again, comment down below if you have noticed tests that women do that I have not mentioned, because I'm genuinely curious. I'm pretty sure I've covered all of them for the most part. Anyways, let's get to it. So the first one is crossing boundaries. Now, by crossing boundaries, I mean the more extreme version. There is a lighter version, which is in the second video. The problem, though, is that when this test happens, in most cases, you have failed the other tests very badly. And there is only one way to pass these tests, and it's to not play the game. Now, if you play the game, simply you lose, and this is shown through your actions. Now the problem is that playing the game more so means like getting in your head and making you rethink whether or not, basically self-doubting yourself. Yeah, that's a really good example of the whole conscious versus subconscious thing. Now a good demonstration though of crossing boundaries in this case, so you can see it, like what would it look like, is getting touchy and flirty with another man right in front of your eyes, and she's making sure that you can see it. Like, that's the most important part, the fact that you are actually seeing it. Now, here's a demonstration of another woman explicitly saying that they do this test, by the way. Just because you think that this test doesn't exist, it most certainly does exist.
Laughing too loud, touching another guy's arm, acting extra playful, and she's doing it right in front of you? That's not harmless. That's a test. She's seeing what you'll tolerate, what she can get away with. If you stay silent in moments like that, she'll know she can disrespect you and that she can do it in public. But if you overreact, she'll flip it, call you insecure, jealous, controlling, and either way, she wins. So let's be clear. Women who respect you don't flirt with other guys right in front of your face. They don't make you question your place. And if she's doing that, she's not being playful, she's testing your boundaries. Once you show her that you don't have any, she will keep pushing further. She flirts with other men in front of you. She's not testing your jealousy. She's testing your standards. And if you fail that test, you'll lose her respect forever.
Now, the thing is, reaction is how the game is played. Your reaction to the situation will tell her everything. And that's exactly the problem with this test. If you react and say, I don't like the way you're treating me, then she sees it as you getting potentially overly emotional. However, if you actively see it and she knows you see it and yet you choose to ignore it, she is going to keep pushing until, well, yeah, it's going to get a lot worse, by the way. She's going to keep pushing until she does other things, maybe a little bit more physical with another man. Yeah, anyways, your reaction to the situation reveals your subconscious in this case. And that's a really big deal because you have to actually be masculine in this case. Your subconscious has to actually have masculine thought patterns. And if it doesn't, then you're cooked. The entire thing is cooked. So it ain't going to work out. Now, the second sort of shit test that a woman will do, 99.999% of men fail this, is arguing with them. Now, I hate to break it to you, though, if you are arguing in your relationship, it's completely cooked. And this is because when you do argue, you are revealing that you live in the subconscious. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. You do not live in the subconscious as a man. For the most part, you are supposed to recognize this and not live in the subconscious. You are not making emotional decisions. You are not making rash, abrasive, quick decisions that are unthought of, basically not thought through too well. This is really, really bad. When a woman argues, or in fact anyone actually, tries to argue with you, implicitly, what this means is they are on equal footing with you, and this is subconsciously being implied. Now, the thing is, I am on equal footing with you is not the right dynamic to have, especially in a romantic relationship. And if you didn't already know, women do not respect equals. They respect their bosses. They don't argue with their bosses. That just doesn't happen, okay? You argue with your boss, you're out. It's pretty simple. Now, authoritative figures do not tolerate this. Like I said, your boss. And if you argue with the CEO you are working for or your boss, it just won't work out. And the thing is, you have to be the larger than life figure in her eyes, and you have to represent that sort of a thing, because this ties back to certain relationship dynamics that you have to have, which is related to subdom. If you're interested, once again, go check out the relationship playlist and learn from that. Please, it's so unbelievably helpful. The third test that she will do is posting on her social media while you are left on red. So if you're in a relationship while this happens, then it's completely cooked. But if you're not in a relationship when this happens, this just means that she's not really interested or super interested in you, or she's testing you, actually, which if she is testing you, it's good, sort of, but usually it just means that she's not interested in you. Now, this is text game, and it shows one specific thing, where her priorities are. Now, if she really likes you, she will text you back really damn quickly, and I mean extremely quickly. Speaking from personal experience on this one, at least minimum within a couple hours. She's not going to delay it for a day and then say, oh, sorry, I didn't see my phone. It's complete bullshit. Everybody lives on their phone, okay? Everybody sees their phone every, like, maybe 5 minutes or sometimes 10 minutes, 20 minutes at most. Oh my God, like in a whole hour without looking at their phone. So this is complete bullshit in my opinion. Now, if this happens to you, once again, it's completely cooked, especially if you're in a relationship. The fourth test that she will do is withhold intimacy. Once again, all of these tests are the worst of the worst. So if you are experiencing these, you are cooked. And God forbid, yeah, like I said, if at the very, this line sums it up very well. If this happens to you, this is not just cooked, this is burned to a crisp. She has lost all respect. Now, if this happens in your relationship, this is going to sound really bad, but in my opinion, you should actually cheat on them. Now, the reason I think that you actually should do this in this case is because the contract of monogamy is a kind of implicit relationship understanding. Now, this implies that the partners are going to be intimate and exclusive to one another, but withholding intimacy in this case is a breach of this specific contract of monogamy. So in this case, if you were to actually experience this withholding of intimacy, and this happens too frequently in my opinion, then sex with somebody else at this point isn't even cheating, because there's no relationship to begin with, because that's the whole point of what a monogamous relationship is. So yeah. The fifth test is apology fishing. Once again, all of these mean that you're absolutely cooked. Now, this usually happens after arguments, by the way, and it's trying to get you to apologize for something you didn't do. Now, a majority of the married couples will experience this. Like, I have heard this all the time, include personal experience on this one from a lot of married couples, including the friends that I've lived with when I was younger. Women will yell and argue to the point where the man just starts to give up, and he doesn't really want to hear it anymore, and he doesn't want to hear the yelling anymore, and he just starts apologizing and saying, I'm sorry. I have seen this in so many families. I have lived with so many friends because I was really close friends with them, and I've seen this in their families themselves. This happens all the time. And what will end up happening is you just basically apologize for mistakes that you didn't actually make. Please don't do that. Apologize for mistakes you do make. Do not apologize for mistakes that you did not make. The sixth test, this is, once again, these are all pretty bad, is doing the bare minimum. Now, if she's doing this, honestly, once again, she's losing respect for you faster than Usain Bolt, okay? I mean, that's pretty damn fast. A woman will bend over backwards or do the limbo or become a fucking contortionist for all I know, for a man she really wants, okay? She will do literally anything. She will open up her schedule. She will suddenly do tons of things just for the man that she wants. Now, if you are coming home after work of 8 hours, for instance, and then you're suddenly cleaning, cooking, and contributing to more of the household chores, as an example, yet she is the one saying, I'm always working so much, start taking a look at her words and not really necessarily how that's true, and look at reality. Reality is a better indicator of whether or not this is or isn't true. Now, if these are the shit tests you are experiencing, once again, you're cooked. In my opinion, the best thing that you can do is you can leave. The effort is not worth it, and it only gets worse, and the tests only get worse. It will not get better at this point. And this is because she has lost respect for you. Now, if you're really interested in all the details behind why, interested in relationship dynamics, or in part 2 of this video of the other shit tests, which happen usually at the beginning of a relationship or even before the relationship has started or a relationship has started, then you should go check out that video. Yeah, go check out the relationship playlist. So yeah, once again, thanks for watching. Hope you guys learned something, and I'll see you in the next one.